So it looks like the PlayStation 4 actually sold 91.6 million units as of December 31st of 2018. Consequently, Spider-Man has also sold 9 million units at the same time. What does this mean exactly for us PlayStation fans? Is it going to slow down next year? Is that really what's going to happen next year? Absolutely. It's going to definitely slow down. Um, is it going to make 120 million? People are suspecting that that's going to be the end number for the PlayStation 4 if it's going to actually end up 120 million, which is basically 20 million more than the PlayStation 1, 30 million less than the PlayStation 2, and about 40 to 50 million more than the PlayStation 3. So, honestly, congratulations to Sony. Congratulations to them specifically because they struggled last generation. They got their ass whooped and they tried so hard to pull through in an economy that is collapsing and in an economy that people thought that, it was just nothing but like Netflix and people really didn't play games anymore and the gaming market was going to crash. Honestly, you got to give props to Sony. You have to give it to them because they didn't just, inadvertently, they didn't just do it for them specifically. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they want to be more successful, and of course, that helps Sony out. But as of gamers, it invigorated, the market. In a world where multiplayer ruled last generation, like bar none, it completely ruled over everything. Everything. We're looking at Spider-Man, a single player game, and about 20 hours of gameplay, did fucking 10 million. Just to let you know, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for the PS2, back then, that game ended up with 15 million on the PlayStation 2. Specifically, I'm not sure if it was just by itself or if it was, accumulative. Either way, that was one of the biggest games of that generation on the most selling platform. And this game in 1 year managed to, just single player, managed to do basically 10 million. You know what I mean? Single player games are starting to become, and people really kind of want that experience. It just sucks that it costs a lot. I had a video earlier. It costs a lot of money to make single player games nowadays. You can tell me playing Jack and Dexter. That was a really big game in terms of environments and stuff like that. But look how low res everything is. Now you have the fucking quadruple, and then double that for details and little things and litter and stuff like that. All this stuff is barren. What I'm trying to say is that it's a lot more effort to make the same type of game, and I get why the industry is going in that direction of microtransactions and multiplayer elements. I also mentioned in my last video that possibly I think more games are going to try to add cooperative modes or some sort of multiplayer one more time to try to recoup on some of these these costs and kind of capitalize on microtransactions while still trying to make these existing huge single player games and stuff like that. Something think of it like this, let's say that Spider-Man did microtransactions. The game itself is full feature, but if you wanted the Raimi suit, you could pay for that. You know what I mean? Shit like that. That's probably going to be more commonplace next generation than anything. You know what I mean? I think the cost is going to slow down as well, or it's going to balance out. Because these games nowadays are really, really, really detailed, and you can't really get more detailed than what it is. They have engines that could create, for instance, Horizon Zero Dawn. You don't have to have somebody, planting not planting, but placing all of the, trees and grass and stuff like that. You literally just basically paint onto the ground, and then there's an algorithm to figure out where it should go naturally and things like that. So, you know, congratulations to Sony. I mean, I want to look into a little bit more in terms of, what's going to happen, or what exactly is the little pieces of the PlayStation PR for, their sell. So what I see here, let's take a look here. Okay, did I cover everything? They were saying this too. 50 million units or million games were sold globally in a holiday season. In a holiday season. You know what I mean? So, that's a lot of fucking games. A lot of games. They also said that basically they sold 5.6 million units globally during the holiday season of 2018. That's incredible. But it kind of makes you think, like, what's next? What is going to be next for Sony? Because where's the games at? And, I don't know where this narrative can come from either. Because there are literally people asking where the games at for Sony. Where's the exclusives? But if you look at 2018, you had God of War, you had Detroit Become Human, and then you had Spider-Man. There was just 3 big heavy hitters. Potentially, I think you're going to get more out of 2019. Dreams is going to come out. Everybody, kind of was curious about that. I hope that game does well. I hope they make it easy. I hope that's what they were doing, because the engine is down packed. They got it going on. They know exactly what they want. So I hope they make that easy to use, because it doesn't look easy to use on when I look at like the videos and stuff like that. It actually looks like Project Spark a lot, with just a little bit more control and complexity. But anyway, you got Dreams coming out. You got Ghost of Tsushima. That's 2 games. You have Days Gone, right? You have The Last of Us Part 2. Like 80% sure that's coming out next generation. Next generation. That's coming out in 2019. And let me just go, and then you got, what is it, Death Stranding, that's potentially going to come out. Let me go back to The Last of Us. Could you imagine if Spider-Man did 10 million from the time that it was released, which is like the last quarter of the year, and it sold 10 million units? You gotta understand that the Spider-Man bundles, like I had in my fucking video, the Spider-Man bundles probably carried that 5 million in that holiday season. I'm pretty sure of that shit. So if Spider-Man was able to do that shit, what is The Last of Us going to do? And let's just say The Last of Us, because Spider-Man, that's the argument too. Spider-Man is such a big name. You got the Marvel comic book, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, basically creating hype for the Spider-Man game and blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. Let's just say if The Last of Us was half as popular on the platform, what is that going to do? Could you imagine if they bundle The Last of Us with this shit? Like, could you imagine how much that's going to sell and catapult the sales? If it's at 9.1 million units as of December 31st, you still got Days Gone going on, right? And that's a zombie game that people are still, for whatever reason, they're still kind of hyped with. I mean, personally, that's going to be one of my most anticipated games of this year. I'm not Ghost of Tsushima, because we don't know what the release date of Ghost of Tsushima is. But we're talking about like Days Gone. That looks like a phenomenal game. I like Ben Studios games a lot, so I have a lot of faith in that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be like a sleeper hit. If people think that game's going to fail, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, because it's definitely going to do better than, what do you call it again? Detroit Become Human. It's going to be a lot better than that in terms of sales, and everybody view that as being successful. So, bruh, that shit's going, man. You don't know, but you also have Ghost of Tsushima that's probably going to carry mid-year. You know, you got Days Gone coming out in what is it, April, and Ghost of Tsushima is probably going to do the summer years or the summer part of the year, and people are going to go on that shit, and then you're probably going to have the holiday season of both Death Stranding, if that's not delayed until 2020, and be like multi what is that, mid, I forgot what it's going to be released for both generations. I don't remember right now. It's the latest shit right now. But you have the 3 major games, and then Dreams is going to be, who knows what that's going to do. I'm pretty sure Dreams is going to be, it's going to transcend 2 generations. I'm pretty sure. And it's going to be repackaged as something that can evolve, a platform that could evolve. I'm pretty sure that's going to work out for that. You know what I mean? While people are buying the PlayStation 5s, Dreams is going to be one of those games that's going to be like, oh, okay, you can use this game, you know, until the other heavy hitters come out and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure they're going to have that, you know, kind of like nailed. I'm pretty sure. And then you have The Last of Us coming out for the holiday season. It could stand on its own. You don't need to release that in March. They did that, I think, last generation. They released it like in some kind of oddball, you know, time, because, you know, Call of Duty was coming out, and you know, and then it would have compete with the heavy hitters, and it was a new IP. Now that it's well established, and all of the controversy that's tied to that game, you know, it's just going to be a double whammy. If you think that the game's not going to do, it's not going to push the PlayStation 4, you know, it's definitely going to do 120 million units, pretty much. So don't even sleep on those numbers. You know, so another thing that was kind of creeping up is that I saw that PSN it has over 90 million active users. And people were like, well, shouldn't they include the Vita? Isn't that including the PlayStation 3? Nigga, ain't nobody playing no PS3 anymore, really. And if they are online, I mean, if they are playing it, they're not really, it's not online. You know what I mean? And then on top of it, let's just say that it was 60 million PS4 users. And then half of that was the PlayStation, you know, actual Plus users and stuff like that, which we know is about 34 million PlayStation Plus premium, you know, memberships that is in use. You know, there's a lot of downplaying going on with you know, Sony's numbers and stuff like that. It's hard as shit to sell over 100 million consoles in this day and age, where you have phones that distract you. You know what I mean? You have tablets to distract you. The economy is not at its best. You know, y'all niggas tripping, yo. Y'all really tripping out there with this downplaying of the numbers, man. These are good numbers. These are very good numbers. Very, very good numbers. So you can eat a dick for that one. But yeah, so it's going to be a successful year. I do wonder personally, what is the plan of Sony? Because they don't have PSX. They definitely don't have an E3. They said they're going to do something in the vein of E3. That's not going to be PSX either. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with it. But I had like a little idea, a little thought. Now, everybody was talking about how Microsoft purchased, you know, they purchased all these studios, and they're trying to build their, you know, their portfolio for their Game Pass and stuff like that. And there's talks about the Xbox being, or Microsoft being multi-platform, releasing their games on multiple platforms, or allowing it to be released because they're going third party. You know, and haha to the Xbox, community, your games are going to be on PlayStations and stuff like that. But I thought, I was thinking about it, right? Is that not such a bad idea? You definitely need exclusives to sell your platform for sure. But I was thinking, I wonder if Sony ever considered, having their major exclusives major titles be exclusive. Stuff like The Last of Us and just high budget, games. And then kind of have like these mid-tier things to be released on, other platforms and stuff like that. This is going to be such a weird generation it's going to be a weird generation because truth be told, it is lucrative to be multi-platform, but it is also strengthening your actual platform and a brand. You definitely need to have those exclusives, but then multi-platforms get you out to more people. So I'm thinking it'd be a smart move for Sony if they did some shit like, their AA titles. Let's just say Gravity Rush, right? They would do something like multi-platform and publish, Gravity Rush, and they release that for other consoles. But then if people want the full-on experience, they would have to go to the PlayStation platform for those top tiers, stuff like that. It'd be a hard thing to balance, but it's something that could work. These companies are going to be thinking outside the box, so don't expect, don't be surprised if some shit comes out like that. Just don't be surprised. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Let me know in the comments what you liked about the video, what you disliked about the video, and if you liked it, a sub would be appreciated.